Alright, guys, we're back. I just had to get my notes ready and everything like that. So, and my peppers. So, Raw was in Detroit, Michigan tonight. And, you know, as I was stating earlier in my Twitter feed, I had thought that the crowd was kind of off at the beginning. A little bit. But I think a lot of it also is because they're just doing the same thing over and over again, man. It's hard to keep your attention when you're not doing anything new. And I don't think it's the fault of anyone. It's not the fault of any of the wrestlers per se. It's just they don't have no talent. Ever since they did this brand split, it's been very repetitive and very same old, same old. Now, I know that SmackDown has been able to do a very good job with what they've got. But even them, I mean, some of their stuff's even kind of going flat a little bit. You know, like with Dean Ambrose and stuff like that. I like Dean Ambrose at the beginning. But this storyline's going a little flat. So, we started out this episode with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar coming out. In your typical fashion, Paul Heyman just kind of going overboard with it a little bit. The whole Brock Lesnar thing and things like that. And I do understand that he is the bad guy. He cuts his heel promo. I think they try to tell him to be as annoying as possible when he's cutting these promos, because he is. There was a couple Goldberg chants. There was a lot of Suplex City chants. The crowd seems kind of split on this one. And, you know, I really don't care about this match, really, because I know what it's going to be. It's going to be short, sweet, and to the point. But what I think is going to happen is everybody's expecting Brock Lesnar to win. I have a feeling that Goldberg's going to pull one out. But we'll see. We'll see. Right now, you can't really tell anything because you have no idea. But, you know, it was a long segment, really no point to it. Just kind of setting up next week when the two will probably collide again. So we'll have to wait and see about that. Kind of just a little promo, establishing a little dominance, establishing that he's going to be the champion. La-da-la-da-la-da, bada-bada-bada. No big deal. After that promo, we cut back to Stephanie McFoley, and where she tells him that he has to comb through the roster of the WWE Universe, or the WWE roster, and pick one person to fire by the end of the night, which leaves Mick Foley perplexed and doesn't know what to do. Not really much to talk about on that one. I mean, kind of like your typical Stephanie McMahon promo, your typical Mick Foley thing. It's just a lot of typical stuff right there. So nothing really big to go off of. Sasha Banks versus Dana Brooke was a real short match. I'll be honest with you, I really didn't even see it. I mean, I did watch the whole Raw, which is very unusual for me because it is it's so long, it's so much time, and there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of filler. This match, Sasha Banks won. She won pretty easily. Charlotte Flair gets in the ring, calls Dana Brooke a piece of shit, basically, a screw up and all these things, and you knew that Dana Brooke was finally getting tired of it. She was finally getting tired of being called worthless and shit like that, and she turned on Charlotte Flair. So we'll probably get a match next week where Dana Brooke gets decimated, but we'll see. So there's, you know, that. So then we have a long cut. We have a long cut, and the long cut. So they announced the new Wounded Warrior recipient, former Rutgers football standout, Eric LeGrand. Congratulations, sir. You deserve it. I saw your video on there. It was absolutely amazing. What a great story. So, in doing all this, they were actually setting up the purple ropes, but they're trying to give everyone, you know, they're trying to keep the pace going. The only thing I have a problem with is stop doing the thing with the purple ropes. Who cares? You know, I wish they'd stop because it's not even a big deal. Like, just leave the ropes like they are. You can tell that these guys are not as big as the other guys. It's okay. It's okay. These peppers are the shit. Alright. So, the next match was, let's see here, TJ Perkins and Akira Tozawa versus Tony Nese and Brian Kendrick. Really good match. What can I say? Not too much to say about it. It looked like at the end there that it kind of looked like at the end to me that TJ Perkins was kind of giving him a little bit of a. He thought, I guess, that Tozawa had maybe interfered or like cut him off or like, I don't know, stepped on his toes or something. I'm not sure. So it looked like he was about to go touch, like ask him what he was doing. But before he got the chance to do that, Tony Nese pushed TJ Perkins in the knee, or Tozawa. They crash outside. Nese gets the roll up, boom, pin, over with, and done. And that was kind of where they went with that one. No big deal on that. So, Tony Nese and Brian Kendrick get the pin. And then Kevin Owens comes out, does a little promo, basically saying that he used Chris Jericho. That Chris Jericho only wanted to be around Kevin Owens because he had the title and all of this stuff. And it was a great promo. It always is a great promo when it comes to Kevin Owens. Now, I will say that shirt on Kevin Owens was not very flattering. Looking pretty large these days, and I say that as respectful as I can. He was just looking kind of large. Not really a problem. He's still a hell of a worker in the ring. I'm just surprised that WWE's not getting on his ass about it, basically. But we'll have to see, what we see next. So then it set up the match between Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe versus Sami Zayn and Chris Jericho. It was a good match, back and forth, real good match. The winners were Sami Zayn and Chris Jericho by DQ. At the end of the match, you had Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe beating the living hell out of Sami Zayn. And then Chris Jericho came in for the save. And then they started beating up on Chris Jericho. He delivered a pop-up powerbomb. And the rest was story. Was ended. So that was kind of how that one ended. That was probably one of the best matches on the card, though, if not the best match, I would have to say. That was a good match. If you didn't get to watch Raw, try to catch it on Hulu tomorrow and get you a nice replay of that match, because it was really good. So then after that, they cut to a backstage promo where Foley was talking to Stephanie about how he was hoping that she was kidding about all that. He was hoping that he could make her reconsider and all these different things. She wasn't having it. And whatever. I mean, really, it wasn't even a big deal. Roman Reigns, well, no. So, after we come back from the commercial break, Jinder Mahal approaches Mick Foley. He's worried about his job. He wants a match. So he gets put into a match later on that night with Roman Reigns. And then there was a little bit, it's just such a weird thing because there were so many different little, like, filler segments and things like that. You had a lot of different filler sections. You have the New Day doing a thing with Big Show talking about his new movies, The Jetsons, where it's like an animated movie, and then Titus O'Neil comes in talking shit, which sets up a match later on for that. And then back to the Enzo Amore, Big Cass versus Sheamus and Cesaro. This match was a good match. I'm just tired of seeing it. And basically what happened was the Bullet Club, the club, whatever you want to call them, Gallows and Anderson, they did a disqualification, which if you fast forward a little bit, you will see that Mick Foley, their plan was failed because they thought that since it was a disqualification, there would be no body to wrestle at WrestleMania, so they'd get to keep their titles, no title shot. Well, Mick Foley went ahead and spun that around on them and said, I'm sorry, you guys, but there will be a triple threat title match. So for the tag team titles, probably on the pre-show, there will be a triple threat tag match for WrestleMania, and I'm going to go ahead and guarantee that one's on the pre-show. If you notice, though, it's so funny. Gallows, look at his knee. It says #BC for Bullet Club. So next time you can see, if you haven't seen it yet, I'm sure everybody has. Check that out, man. It's really funny. This match was a no contest. Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal. It was as good of a match as it can be for the time that was allotted. It didn't really have much time. You have the gong going off, which allowed Jinder Mahal to get the upper hand. I was really hoping that would be an upset. That would have caused Roman to be furious and really want to get his hands on The Undertaker. Well, that didn't happen, and Roman Reigns won. And after he won, he grabbed the microphone, called out The Undertaker. HBK comes out, tells him that he needs to stop worrying so much about The Undertaker, that The Undertaker's already in his head. And what I thought was a very good promo from Roman Reigns, where he cut almost a heelish promo. I was really impressed. He was kind of like a little dickhead, kind of an asshole, talking about how The Undertaker retired him and how he's going to retire The Undertaker, and really just kind of that chip on his shoulder, you know. And there's really no point in Shawn Michaels coming out there and doing that. I'm really tired of them doing these things. Like, you remember Hell in a Cell, when Mick Foley came out there to Sasha and Charlotte, was like, y'all don't know what you're getting yourselves into. Well, it's basically the same thing. Everybody's going to be talking, and they're going to make him out to be the underdog, which we all know he's going to win. I just hope they turn him heel, so it'll be like one of those things where, like, a heel, beats The Undertaker, and it just makes it so much, it just makes it to me more special. But we'll see what they do. After he leaves the ring, he gets fucking ran over like by a semi truck by Braun Strowman. I mean, he hit him so hard he flew down the ramp and into the side. You know, I really don't know if that was even supposed to happen. That shit right there was crazy, which set up a match for next week. So, you know, whatever. It'll be a good match. Hopefully Strowman will win, but I really doubt it. The next match, obviously they had to put the ropes back on for the purple ropes for Austin Aries versus Ariya Daivari. It was a good match. What can I say? The crowd really is behind Austin Aries, which they should be, because he's a hell of a worker, hell of a fighter, hell of a wrestler. Austin Aries won that match. What did you expect? I mean, it's definitely gonna be probably Austin Aries versus Neville for the title. Now, I'm really hoping that it's a triple threat, but I doubt it will be. I don't think it will be, but it might be. But Big Show versus Titus O'Neil. Next, Big Show won. That's all you need to know. That's all I needed to happen. And the main event, Bayley versus Nia Jax. That's all I gotta say about that. They disqualified the match. It's fucking terrible. It's horrible. I'm sorry, but Charlotte is like running laps around these girls, man. She is by far the best worker. You know, when she has matches with Sasha Banks, man, they tear the fucking house down. They don't do that with Bayley, man. I just don't think she's as good as she was in NXT. Maybe it's like the way they book her or something. I'm not real sure what it is, but it's just not as good. So whatever they're doing, they need to fix it, because that shit is awful. And I really just don't... I'm really not excited at all for that match, to be honest with you. And then at the end, Mick Foley comes out, says that he feels like Stephanie McMahon needs to be fired because she belittles all the wrestlers, that she basically makes them look like little bitches. She doesn't respect them at all. Triple H comes out after, you know, he keeps running his mouth. Stephanie was talking shit back. Yada, yada, yada. Triple H comes out. Talks a lot of shit to Mick, man. God bless. He would have been ruthless, dude. Tells Mick that he can fire his son. He can make sure his daughter never gets wrestling. He can do all these things. He needs to shut up and get his ass up the ramp. All will be forgiven if he does that. Well, you knew something was about to happen. I just knew that Mick Foley wasn't going to take much of a bump, because I don't think he can. Goes to the corner, pulls out Socko. Socko's his ass up. Stephanie comes over, delivers the low blow. You know that Triple H is about to bust his ass, but he took so long but everyone knew that someone's about to come out. It was Seth Rollins. He comes waddling out there on one crutch, takes his jacket off, has jeans that are tighter than fuck on. I mean, this dude had tight, skinny jeans on. Shit was crazy. Gets in the ring, they throw some exchanges. Seth Rollins gets the upper hand, really fucks him up. He gets caught outside. Triple H gets back in the ring, grabs the crutch, gets back in the ring, fucking still gets hammered by Seth Rollins, and then bam, hits his fucking ass in the knee with that crutch twice, and we're talking some stiff shots, boy. Ends up busting his ass, drops the crutch by his face, and pretty much says, bitch, what up? And that's how the show ended. So, I mean, the crowd was really dead at the beginning of the night, but as the night went on, they kind of got a little hotter and hotter and hotter. Obviously, if you're going to have Triple H come out, they're really starting to build for a very big WrestleMania. I mean, I think it's going to be one of the better ones. I've heard a lot of stuff on the internet talking about they didn't think it would be. I honestly think it will be, so we'll have to wait and see. Tomorrow is April 2nd. That fucking shit starts so early, though, man. God, it's like 7 hours or something. But, you know, it is what it is, and hopefully they'll keep pumping the show up. I really wasn't impressed with the show for the most part. Very slow, very lackluster, but the last segment definitely made up for it. It just sucks ass that you have to wait 3 fucking hours to get there. Hope they have better things in the future. I'll give this show a C, and that's as far as I can do. Peace.